Hello everybody and welcome back to the Unfiltered Life channel. As of right now, I'm at my primary job working overnight security. Normally I'm not overnight, but if I'm going to maintain being anywhere from 72 to 84 hours on my main job and working anywhere from 84 to 96 hours a week, you got to pick or get what you can take, or take what you can get. Anyways, today's episode is we're going to have one of two titles. It's either going to be not everyone deserves it or not everybody deserves it, right? Maybe not everyone deserves it. We'll go with that one. So, primarily what is inspiring in this episode is a majority of my time, of the time I'm awake. Depression is a state of mind. I don't think that it's something that is a disease. The reason being is because it's something that can plague you, and people aren't exempt from, right? You can be a celebrity and you can be famous and you can have hundreds of millions of dollars, and you could be a billionaire and you can still feel depressed. You could be eating in the finest restaurants on earth, staying at the nicest places on earth, but I think that depression is more of a frontier that people live on. When you're a millionaire or a billionaire and you can start a business from scratch, you've been able to do it, a dozen times or multiple times, you start losing purpose. You start understanding that, hey, things aren't as challenging as they once were, or things aren't really challenging at all anymore. And it's depressing because it strips your purpose away from you. I think primarily as an individual, all of us need a purpose. Whether you're a male or female, you need a purpose. Women, a lot more often, in recent years, they're far more career purpose driven. So, and guys have, I believe, always been like that. Women used to be a little more into like the family dynamic, and their purpose was their family, having kids, building a home. Now it's more of a career. Men, I think, back then, throughout history, it was conquering land. It was providing security to their family. It was building a community. It was taking over and expanding. And now, because not necessarily that doesn't exist anymore, but that's more of an elitist thing now, I believe that it's far more common that a man's purpose is to make as much money as possible, at least in his mind. When you get older, your purpose starts shifting. In the beginning, it may be money driven, it may be gym, it may be going to the gym, it may be getting a six-pack, it may be finding someone to settle down with. I think as we get older, specific types of individuals, it becomes building their own business or being financially independent, not having to worry about their bills, being able to live comfortably. But then as we get maybe even a little older than that, sometimes it happens Yep. Alright, I got ants on me. So sometimes it happens with when you're at a specific age, or when you start getting older. Sometimes it happens when you're young. Sometimes it just happens through specific life experiences. But overall, men after a while start being a little more focused on building a family, getting their life in order, making sure that everything's kind of in order, and that they have that level of security. And so again, this episode is called Not Everyone Deserves It. And what I mean by that is not everyone deserves everything that life has to offer, right? Whether it's good or bad. I think that a lot of the negative things that have happened to me weren't things that I can look at and go, yeah, but I did this, and you know what, I kind of deserve that. I don't think that a lot of the bad things that have happened to me were things that I primarily deserved. Now, do I hold that as a fundamental truth and say, oh, well, I didn't deserve that, and woe's me, and everything like that? No, because I think that regardless of what has happened to you, you need to find a way to not only move on, but learn from that, grow from that, and be better and understand, okay, if I don't want this to happen again to me, and it was life-changing, or it was scarring, or it was damaging, then how do I stop myself from going through that? Hold up. Primarily, I think that suffering for men is something that is not only essential, but is good for them because it allows them to truly figure out who they are or what they value in their life. You know, if their parent were to die, right? That may be heartbreaking for everybody, but especially if it hits you in a very specific type of way or a very deep type of way, you may understand that you value, family and tradition a little more than you originally believed. Let's just say if you didn't feel something towards it, well, then you may understand that, why didn't I feel something towards it? Well, it's because this person was X, Y, and Z. And then you understand that, hey, if I'm going to have my kid, I want to not be X, Y, and Z, and I want to be A, B, C instead. So, or as something as simple as a maybe not necessarily simple, but something like a pet. Recently, my sister's dog, who I had pretty much almost raised throughout his life, passed away. And honestly, it was something that, it wasn't my biggest heartbreak. It wasn't the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it wasn't my most vulnerable moment. But with burying him, it was something that I felt was very, very sad doing, something that I cried doing. Because for me, it was me consciously realizing that, one, I've had many scenarios through my life that have given me these thoughts, but the thing is with dogs hold a special place in my heart because I believe that they're, at least the majority of them, are very innocent. I believe that they're all really innocent. It's just the difference on that they love unconditionally until we mold them into something that either they're not or something that isn't pleasant, just like we do with people. So the thing is, I think the specific reason why this hit me harder is because, one, I had taken care of that dog. I played with him. I had taken him places. I had, done activities with him. I cleaned up after him. I fed him. I had done a lot of X, Y, and Z, for over 7-8 years. And then to understand that all of us at the end of the day just return to the dirt is something that is depressing. But at the end of the day, we all have the same fate, regardless of anything that we do on this earth. And unfortunately, my other two dogs, I'm going to have to pay to have them put down and cremated. And the reason being is because they're a few years past their life expectancy, but secondarily, they also are at that point where they could barely walk anymore. They're becoming bone. And I believe that the less cruel thing to do is, for me, growing up, I thought putting an animal down was something that was crazy, was something that you shouldn't do, was something that was inhumane because it wasn't natural. But for me, now being through that natural part, I'm understanding that the more humane thing may be to put your dog down while they're suffering. That way that they don't have to live like that anymore. And one of these scenarios is also seen in Raising Kanan. In Raising Kanan, Rock, who's Kanan's mom, I don't necessarily know if she overdoses her or if she puts something into her IV bag, and that way she can. Rock, who's Kanan's mom, puts something into her mom's IV bag while she's dying from cancer, because the mom is begging her to just kill her because it's torturing her. It's something that she's in so much pain. And she just wants it to end. And so Rock sees it as the humane thing to put her down. Now, of course, that's a little more. I'd say that's a much bigger thing than putting a dog down, but it's the overall same fundamental. And so we have to understand that everyone deserves their unalienable rights, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everyone deserves to have the opportunity and the chance to be able to make something of their life and to be able to, whether that's just something as simple as graduating high school. Do I think graduating high school is a big deal? No. There are people that, and you see this online a lot, that are throwing huge parties, shaking ass, dancing on the stage, doing backflips and shit for graduating high school. Do I think that that's a well-deserved thing? No, and the reason being is because almost everyone does it. And I was having this conversation with my girlfriend. And my girlfriend said, well, babe, what if they're the first in their family to do that? Well, what if they're the first in their family to graduate high school or to, get out of high school and they're not pregnant, or they don't have a kid, or to be a straight A student, or to go to college, or anything like that? And I said, I can understand that for certain things, like if you were the first to get your master's degree. But one, I don't think that there is an overall reason to be able to, to behave like that. There's no overall reason to be able, or to justify being an individual that is on a stage doing backflips, fucking shaking ass, throwing shit, and acting like a wild buffoon. There's no reason to do something like that. I don't fucking care if you're getting your master's degree. And the reason that I say this is because my mom has her master's degree, or she's getting her master's degree, actually. She has a year left in college. But the thing is that overall, do I think that if my mom got a master's degree and I saw her doing that on the stage, would I say, well, she deserves to do whatever because she's celebrating it? Hell no. And if I ask my mom the exact same question, she's going to say, why the fuck would I do that? Why would I do that? Why would I act that way? Why would I? So it's a justification. People use justifications for acting stupid. And they act stupid and try to justify it by giving mundane, stupid reasons. If you're so excited about graduating high school, that is one of the, in my opinion, the most depressing fucking things ever. Because if you are that excited, you're going to fucking do X, Y, and Z and start doing backflips and whatever and acting crazy for getting a diploma for graduating something that took no money to do, that only took your time, and that my graduating class was around 1,000 people, that 1,000 people per year will do only at your school, let alone in the entire city of San Antonio or the entire state of Texas or the entire state of the entire U.S. If you're going to be that excited for doing the same thing that over 1 million people did in the same year, in the same time, just because they were born in the same time as you, then you're not destined to be anyone that's exceptional. Now, if you want to do a backflip and do X, Y, and Z for closing your first business deal, sure. If you want to do a backflip and throw a party for having an overall revenue or gross income of over for your business over $1 million or $500,000 or $100,000 after doing years and years and years of work, then sure, go for it, because that's something that not everyone can do or everyone has done. Now the thing is that people celebrate mediocrity, and that's where this video comes from. That's where this video of not everyone deserves it. Not everyone deserves something. That's where this comes from. So I saw a quote today, just right before I started making this video, and it gave me the inspiration to make this video. And here was the quote. So here's the quote. The quote is by Rafael Nadal. I think I'm saying that right. The quote is, "People think I was a winner. I am not a winner. I am a competitor. Victory lasts only so long. It's momentary. What has always motivated me is the desire to keep fighting, because satisfaction comes from difficulty." Now, I think that the overall message to that is exactly what Kobe said, right? Which is basically, don't look forward to the destination, look forward to the journey. If you can fall in love with the work, you're going to be better than 99% of anybody and everybody, because not only does no one want to do the work, but they only see the final destination, not any of the work that goes into it. Now, and if they do see the work that goes into it, it's normally the main deterrent for why they are not pursuing anything extraordinary. It's not because no one wants $1 million or $1 billion, or no one wants to drive a fucking supercar, or no one wants to live in a mansion, or no one wants any of these things. It's because they see that the work is too much and they don't want to go through all of it. Now, the difference with, why that quote is so important to me is because it is the exact, it goes hand in hand exactly with the title of this episode. Not everyone deserves it. Not everyone deserves to have $1 million. Not everyone deserves to have their dream job. Not everyone deserves to be happy. Not everyone may deserve an opportunity to be able to be a productive member of society, but not everybody deserves to be rich. Not everybody deserves to have multiple homes and a fucking nice car and enough money in the bank to be able to do whatever the hell they want, or to be able to go on vacation multiple times a year. Overall, in my mentality, I haven't been on vacation because I haven't reached a point where I'm comfortable. Now, the point where I'm comfortable is I have to have quite a bit in savings, right? I've made a lot of money, but I've spent a lot of money, especially in consideration for a lot of my peers. I've spent a lot more money than anyone that is near my age, but I've made a lot more money than almost anyone near my age, at least anyone that I know personally. In my first year of being on my own, in the first few months of being on my own, which was from August to December, I didn't make that much. I only made like 13 or 13 to 15,000, not that much. And that was before taxes. That was before contributions to my 401k. That was before anything like that. So take home, I think I took home like in 4.5 months, maybe $9,000 or something like that. I was gonna say it has to have been more than that, but to be fair, I lived on my own for the last 3 months of the year, not 4. So that makes sense. So anyways, and then within, my first month alone in sales, I made $13,000. In my first full year of sales, I made mid-60s. And thought I had an ant on me, sorry. And that's me being, I was 18, going into 19, and I was 19 for some of it. And now, and that's why I put a specific note on my thing, which was on my Instagram notes. I put a few weeks ago, I was feeling annoyed, and I just said I was trying to remind myself that I've pretty much doubled my income per year every year, and every year since I started working. Before my security job, just at I think it was February of this past year, or of this year, which means I had been working. I know that when looking at the math, I had worked for about 44 months, something like that, in total. So that's not even full time. And when I first started working at 15, I was working 2 hours a day, at max 18 hours a week, getting paid $11 an hour. So taking that into consideration, that from October to July, or August, because my birthday was at the end of July, that of 2021 and 2022, that October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, for those 10 months, I was making $300 a month as a sophomore going into my junior year. So even with that being said, if you really want to look at it, that's $3,000, $4,000. So that's not anything that's extraordinary, right? So if you really want to kind of cut it down, in pretty much 3 years, 36 months, I had made about 120 or almost 130,000 in 3 years. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's not entirely even being on my own. That is still working at Chick-fil-A and working at Walgreens. If you want to look at, if I did this for a full year, and then you want to look at everything else that I've done from the time I moved out to a year into this, then in 2.5 years, I would have made about $200,000. By that point, I'd be 20. So then my lifetime earnings would be near mid 300,000. No, I'm sorry. About 300,000, or high 200s. Probably mid 200s. I'm sorry. I'm fucking tired. I don't know. Math is no longer my strong suit. So, I'm sorry. The reason I have my head continuously turned is because it's very windy, and I don't want the feedback to be in my AirPod too much. But regardless, the whole thing is that when you look at everything, everyone always, regardless of who they are, has always said or asked me certain things, right? And those questions are always kind of fundamentally in work. And what I mean by that is it always has something to do with work, which is, why do you work so much? Oh my God, you're always here. Oh my God, you never have a day off. Oh my God, why do you work so much? Do you need the money? Oh my God, that check must be good. I always see you here. Are you a workaholic? Are you just addicted to this? Why don't you go home? Why don't you sleep in? Why don't you take a day off? Why don't you, right? And it's all the same mediocre bullshit. And the reason being is because for me, the one thing I heard at one point that I kind of understand and I agree with is that the people that drown themselves in their work and consistently are working are lazy, because they all want, if you're consistently working, you're looking for money, right? You want money. You're exchanging your time for money. But you'd rather be lazy and figure out how to be the best 9-to-5 employee and work than try to work yourself out of being just someone's employee and work to be your own boss. And at that point, I can understand that. I can understand that argument. But the difference is that not everyone can be their own boss. Not everyone can run something. Not everyone can have an idea or even have the motivation to want to even try their idea. One thing I told my mom about going into business is I told her the same thing when I was in sales. It's been a rough 2 years for me, right? A lot of stuff has happened since I moved out, and we're almost at 2 years. In another 3.5 months, we'll be at 2 years that I've been on my own. And I remember a year ago, about a year and 2 months ago, it was April, and I had just made $13,000 in March, and I finally felt that, okay, I'm out of debt now, right? And I wanted to still continuously go to work. I didn't have a day off. I worked 13 hours a day pretty much from open to close, Monday through Saturday, for the first 4 or 5 months that I was at Universal, before I took a day off. And the first day that I took off, I did it first because I had some errands I needed to run that had a time limit. Okay, any time that I took a day off, it was for a specific reason. And overall with that, I don't have days off. So if I just have time away from work. For me to take a day off, in my mind, that is take a rest. You're not at work. Just relax, do your own thing, whatever you want to do, whatever. For me, I don't have that. I'm not taking a day off until there's a reason to take a day off. And if there's a reason to take a day off, that means, hey, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need to run this errand, or I need to go here, or I need to have this appointment, or I need to meet this person, or I need to do something. Primarily, like anytime I've taken days off at regular jobs, it's been for appointments, but it's also been, like, for instance, to buy cars. I've bought 3 cars. With days off, I've bought 2 cars because my second car, which was my Corolla, which was the first car I actually financed, that one, I did it after work, at Frost. My second car, did I do it after work? No. I did it on my day. I took a day off to be able to do it because I didn't want to rush and I didn't know how long the process would be. So I took a day off and I went and did it. And then on another time with my truck, I had to go and re-sign some papers for warranties and stuff. And that I left work early instead of 9 like I normally did. I left work at like 7. But that was because dealerships pretty much close at the same time, so obviously I'm gonna have to leave before 9 if I want to get there. The other time, when I bought my Camry, it was December, and I did it after I got home from work. So what I did was I worked an overnight shift. So I was working security at this point in December. It was December 26th. I did my 12-hour overnight shift from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. I was exhausted because I stayed up the whole shift. And obviously, I'm not the type of person where I sleep in until my shift. I'm the type of person like yesterday. I did my 24-hour shift where I was watching those videos, right? Where I was making those videos. So I did the 12-hour shift here, then I took the commute to be able to go to my other job, and then I did an 11-hour or 10-hour some fucking thing shift there. And then at that point, I went home and I slept from 9 to 2, right? So I slept 5 hours. Then I got up, and I've been up ever since 2. Even though I go in at 7, which means I didn't have to be up till 6. But for me, why the fuck am I going to sleep in until 6? I have shit I need to do. Even if I don't do something like buy a car or go run errands, I'd rather be awake than not, right? Because if you're not awake, you're not doing anything. You're dead to the world. There's nothing that's happening. There's nothing that you're doing. I could have created a video. I could have hit the gym. I could have. Or I could have checked in on people. I could have seen what my mom needs right now, or if my sister needs anything, or how the dogs are. Shit like that. But that can't be the case if you're just sleeping. So anyways, I've had so many people through my life and through the 4.5 years that I've worked, I've had so many people say, bro, take a day off. Bro, you don't need to come in. Why are you working so much? How are you working 50 hours and you're in high school? How the hell are you working 90 hours a week? How are you working 94, 96 hours a week? And even at this job, there's this girl, she's a year or two older than me, and her brother work here. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. But what she told me one time was, how do you work so much? And I said, I need to. She was like, you need the money? And I was like, no, like mentally, I need to be doing something, and I need to be finding a way to make money. And the easiest way to make money is to work. I'm going to trade my time for work. Now, is that primarily what I want to do, and I want to be a regular hourly employee for the rest of my life? No. But in the meantime, until I'm waiting to be able to get into my electrician field, or until I'm waiting to be an entrepreneur, I need to be able to do something, and I need to be able to make money in any way, regardless of what it is. Whether it was in sales, whether it's back in banking, or working for the Department of Defense, working claims, working security, working fucking fast food, I don't care. So, and I have contingency plans for this job. I'm very blessed to be at a job that not only pays me $20 an hour, but lets me almost have all the overtime I want. I can't work a 24-hour shift, but I can work 94, 96 hours a week if I want. 96 hours a week if I want, and I can. Or, 84 hours a week if I want, because that's 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts a day if I can't work a 24-hour shift. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, and I know that that's not something that is always going to happen. So for me, I know that, hey, let's just say, sorry, I keep getting interrupted, so I'm starting to get upset. I'm starting to get a little more precise in the things that I'm saying. So let me try to calm down, but also let me try to get through this video. So overall, I have contingency plans for not only how I can continuously support myself, but I have the overall mental strength and capacity and will to do what needs to be done. And that is what so many people on this fucking planet do not have. So many people do not have that will, that drive. In their mind, if they don't need to, they won't. If I were to lose this job, I already have another job with another security firm that pays the exact same amount, right? 20 an hour. The difference is that they don't do overtime. They just pay 20 an hour, you get your 40 hours, boom, there. Now for me, what I've said is, okay, as long as they let me pick my schedule, I'm picking 7 to 3, right? It's prosecutor. 7 to 3, right? Which means I got to get up at 6, which means I got to be on the road by 6:20 or 6:15. And what that means is that I have a steady paycheck coming in. But in addition to that, I'm going to be picking up whenever possible. But I'm also going to get another job. So what type of job would I be getting? I would either be getting an hourly job or I'd be getting a serving job. Now the difference is that specific to the serving job, if I can get an hourly job that has the ability to not only pay me a decent amount, but has the option for me to work past 5, great. But not a lot of jobs, unless they're in fast food, have that capability. And not a lot of jobs that are in fast food are paying more than 15 an hour. So that's where the possibility of serving comes in, where I can serve from 5 to 11, 5 to 10, 5 to 9, 5 to fucking whenever, or 4:30 till whenever, or 4 till whenever. So but at the same time, that may be a working plan or a work in progress plan, but at least I have a fucking plan. If this electrician job took longer to get, if for some reason I kept hitting brick wall after brick wall, and then I kept getting told that, hey, you have to be 21 or older to be able to join us, whatever, the pay is this, and I can't physically do that fucking pay, and they're not looking to do overtime, fine. And I have to postpone, at least I have a plan. And I have a plan on how I'm going to be able to continuously support myself and not rely on others. One of the main things that my girlfriend complains about, and this is where people that are normies, and I'm not trying to be rude to her, I'm sorry how that came out, but what I'm saying is normal people, that because she's someone like me, so I'm not trying to call her normal. But what I'm saying is that it's a normie thought that she had. Normal people that aren't exceptional will say the same things like this, which is, in my true belief, I have to not only make enough money to support myself, but I have to make enough money to support both of us. If I'm not supporting both of us, and you got to worry about yourself, there's a difference with me having to support you and me having the ability to support you. I need to at least have the ability. I'm someone that after taxes, I'm clearing, I'm making $8,000 to $9,000 a month now, or let's just say 8. I'm clearing about 6,300 after taxes. So $3,000 of that is enough to pay all my bills and be able to get groceries and get gas, be able to have a set to reset button, and be able to be at full capacity. Everything else, I could throw $2,000 in savings. I could hold on to the rest of it and still buy groceries for the month. I could still buy whatever I want, and I could still go shopping. I could still have the ability to take my mom to a $400 steak dinner. I could still have the ability to treat my girlfriend and take her on dates and buy her fucking clothes or whatever, right? But the overall thing is that the specific thought that she said, or the specific thing that she told me, was this. She said, I want you to stop thinking about it where you have to be, you have to work so much because you need to do X, Y, and Z, and that it's only you saving you, right? I want you to start thinking about it where we have my money too. And I said, I understand, but at the same time, that's not a reality, and that's not a way that I'm going to be able to think about. And the reason being is because no one in my life has been trustworthy enough where almost no one in my life has been trustworthy enough that not only can I guarantee that they'll do X, Y, and Z, they won't betray me, but in addition to that, no one has been there for me close enough where I can even remotely feel comfortable enough to say, if I don't make this money, I'll be okay because I got X person. That's just not a reality. My mom is the closest to that, and I would not want to do that, or would not do that to my mom, especially knowing I'm fully capable and more capable than almost every single individual I know. With that being said, I cannot be someone that is okay with taking their foot off the fucking gas pedal. I cannot quit. I cannot lose, and I will not allow myself to lose to anyone. And that is where this type of quote comes in, right? It's not, this guy saying it's not about being a winner. It's about being a competitor. And that I share, but at the same time with competing, I have to win. And I'm willing to compete to whatever stakes, circumstances, or whatever scenario possible in order to be the winner. Now, winning at life is too abstract. You can't necessarily say, well, this person won at life, because you may be able to for specific individuals, but so many people struggle with quote unquote winning at life, and everyone has a different mindset to it, right? So let's use a sports analogy, right? For me, the number one thing that fuels my work ethic is competitiveness. If I know that half the people in there only work 3 days out of the week, I'm going to want to work 6. Because not only am I competing to make more money than them, but I'm competing to be superior. In addition to that, you may see that as, or someone may see that and say, well, that's overstrenuous, or well, you're just competing with everyone and that's not right because of X, Y, and Z, or whatever fucking bullshit excuse you may have. But at the end of the day, I'm richer. At the end of the day, I have the ability to not only do more things for people, but be a more capable individual for those around me and myself. And at the end of the day, I can treat my mom to a $400 dinner, and I can go and take X person or my uncle or Kay or whoever out to another $300 dinner in the same month, or in the same 2-week span, or in the same week span. I can still do that. So regardless of what I've heard so many people say this as well. They'll say, there's no point in working all that overtime because taxes fucks you. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But at the same time, that may be your mindset, but that's not mine. For me, I'm leaving money on the table. Taxes is going to fuck me anyways. Whether I make 1,000 every 2 weeks, whether I make 2,000 every 2 weeks, or whether I make 3,000 or 4,000 every 2 weeks. So if I have the ability to make 4,000 every 2 weeks and make 8,000 a month from that, yeah, taxes may go, okay, well, you're in a different bracket, so I'm going to take 25% of that. And instead of making, $6,000 a month after taxes, I'm going to be making $4,000 a month. But at the same time, you making 1,000 a week, right? You still have taxes. So I may be overworking myself, but what else am I doing with my time? Now, if I'm building a business, there's an individual here, he's going to get his doctorate, or he's looking to be able to go into the medical field, and this is kind of his full-time, part-time job. He works here about 3 to 4 days a week. Great, because he has something. But you, or a majority of the people that don't have anything going on in their lives, but want to sit back on the couch and just enjoy whatever the fuck that they have, which isn't something that anyone would look at their life and go, damn, I want that. Those are the people that are trying to stop you from reaching your full potential. Not everyone deserves to have anything and everything that they want. So many people waste their opportunities, and so many people are not only individuals that you wouldn't trust, but are individuals that you wouldn't trust to fucking show up. Now, you don't have to have a six-pack, and you don't have to be the most shredded person in the room, and you don't have to work 100 hours a week to be able to show everyone that, hey, I'm a capable person and you should trust me. But you have to be working towards something, or you have to be trying at something. If you're working 48 hours a week, that is more than a lot of people or your regular 9 to 5. But you also have to have a purpose. And whether that purpose is, hey, that extra money I used to be able to help my kid, or I used to be able to, I'm saving up to be able to do this, or go on a trip and bring my family with me, or to help with paying these medical bills for this person, or whatever. Fine, you have a reason why you're doing it. And my reason is overall because, one, I ain't got shit better else to do except make some fucking money. I'm making $400 a day. And for me, great. Because if the difference in my paycheck, if the difference is my paycheck is $2,000 versus $4,000, and after taxes it's $3,000, what the fuck is, for me, I need that extra money. Not because I need it, but because in my soul, it belongs to me. It's there for me to take. And I'll be damned if I can't do it. Now, the difference is that there's a difference with being at a job that says, hey, no, we don't allow overtime, right? Versus, no, we allow overtime, pick up whenever you want, right? Because at a job that won't allow overtime and you're trying to make more money in X, Y, and Z, well, then you got to go get a second job, or you got to find a different way to make money. I've seen people that have sold calendars. I've seen people that are into flipping items. I've seen people that are into building their own freelancing business, or fucking mow lawns, or do whatever they want just to be able to make extra money. And that is a hustler. But I've seen people that, and I've been the person that in my mind, for me hitting those 40 hours at my corporate job, you tell me no overtime, I'm going to go, damn it. All right, well, I wanted overtime. All right, well, I'll figure it out. But I was that way for a month until I realized there is no fucking figuring it out. I got to do some shit about it. And I got to go get another job. And I got to try because I'm fucking drowning here. And so many people would rather drown and ask for a fucking handout. And overall, how can you respect anybody that is doing this? Now, there's different circumstances, but overall, I want you to think about it like this. If your life fucking depended on making over, let's just say, median, right? What the median income in the U.S. per adult is about 50 to 60,000 a year. Let's just say it was 50,000, right? For the median across the U.S., it was 50,000 a year. If I held a gun to your head and I said, you need to make 60,000 per year. You need to find a way to consistently do that. Doesn't matter how you do it. Doesn't matter what you do. You just have to, at the end of the day, you have to make over 60,000 a year. Now, you may look at that and go, well, okay, that sounds easy. And then you'll try to do it and you'll do it. Because honestly, making 60 grand a year, it's not super fucking difficult, right? You may have to work a regular hourly job, and then you may have to get another job, but you can figure out a way to fucking make 60,000 a year, especially if your life depended on it. Now, if I did the exact same thing and I said median's 50, I want you to make 100. And at December 31st, or when that next paycheck and that pay stub hits for that first week of January, and you look at your year to date, it needs to be over 100 or you're done. You're telling me that it is too fucking impossible that you will try everything and anything possible in your way and you cannot do it. And I say that is bullshit. Because if you can work like me at my regular job, yes, am I in a more privileged area where I have the ability to work all the overtime possible? Yes. And I'm doing it. And that alone is going to make me $100,000 a year. But the difference is that if I wasn't, and I was like everyone else, if Frost is paying me 40-some thousand a year or $3,400 a month, cool. I got to look at that and I got to go, okay, cool. I have to make another 60,000 on top of that. How the fuck do I do it? And so many people are, and I understand because, again, I've been in the scenario where I'm so worried or so focused on just trying to make it past this month in bills that it's hard to look ahead. But the problem is that so many people find a way to get those month in bills paid. But that's it. Then they stop there and they say, well, my bills are paid, so all right, on to the next month. And it's the rat race. And so many people are in the rat race. So many people don't do something. So many people are okay with being content with their life. And I remember I've told many people, dozens of people this, that I am the most discontentful person fucking ever. And the reason being is because I cannot live like everyone else. It pisses me off. I'm making $100,000 a year and I'm still pissed off that I don't have my own business. I'm still pissed off that, yeah, can I afford a house? Yes. If I had the ability to not only work here for the rest of, to have this type of income for ever, and I just planned on having an hourly job or work my way up in a corporation, I would be here. But the thing is that isn't my plan. That's not what I plan on doing. And for me, $100,000 a year is not enough. I'm 19, about to be 20, and I'm on track to make over $100,000 in 1 year. And the problem is that for me, I still hate that I'm not where I want to be. I could buy a house right now. I have my own apartment. I have my 4 cars. I have whatever. I got a fucking 765 credit score, which means that, and I'll have multiple cars on it, which means that I have some pretty fucking solid credit. I got 5 credit cards. I got whatever the fuck I want. I'm able to save $2,000 a month, pay $3,000 a month in my bills, and I'm still able to to go out and eat and take care of other people. I have enough money to be able to, I saw this clip, very split second on Caleb Hammer's podcast. And he said, wow, it was this guy who was a QT manager. And he said, wow, you're 21 and you're making 60 to 65,000 a year. That's awesome. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, bro? I'm like 19 making almost double that. Like, I was 18 and I made 60 grand in my first year of sales. How the fuck are you going to congratulate someone for doing something that is not necessarily mediocre, but it's not exponentially difficult? Now, if you were fucking 20 and you wanted to climb Mount Everest and you fucking climbed Mount Everest and you trained for weeks on doing it and whatever, I'd say, wow, congratulations, right? Because one, that's not something that everyone's fucking done. But two, you're 20, you dedicated yourself, awesome, right? But at the same time, life depends on it. You're gonna fucking figure out how to do something. And so many people, their life doesn't depend on it because in their mind, the rat race is all that there is. I was in this trap for a few months until I realized in the rat race, I can't pay my fucking bills. Or I could barely pay my fucking bills. I gotta worry about the things I gotta buy at fucking H-E-B or Walmart or wherever the fuck I'm going. I can't go to Target. I can't go to Whole Foods. I can't do X, Y, and Z. I gotta buy, buy one, get one free pizza every Tuesday. Do I still do that? Yes. But at the same time, I had to do that back then. I don't have to now. I could go out every day I want. And I don't gotta do shit. But I've seen money. I've seen where they keep it. I've seen the people that had it. And that's where social media comes in, because you're able to see these things and you're so discontent with life as a man a lot of the times. But the thing is that I've seen that online. In my peers, that discontentment I've yet to see. I've yet to see people that, for instance, my friend said, him and my girlfriend. My girlfriend told me I was depressed as fuck when I couldn't buy a house. And the reason being is because I said, I have enough money, but this isn't forever. I don't plan on having a career here. I don't know how much I'm going to be paid for my next job. I don't know how many hours I'm going to have. I know I'm going to be able to afford my apartment. I know I'm going to be able to afford X, Y, and Z, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford an $1,800 a month mortgage. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford a $200, $300, fucking water bill or electric bill or whatever the fuck, right? I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford all this, and I don't want to then do that and then in 2 years or a year and a half have to trade in my truck. And then now I have a heightened car bill, and I don't want to be putting myself in a scenario for me to fail. But at the same time, I know that, hey, I'm in that for the long haul. So if I got to suffer now for the long haul of success or for the long road of success, I'm going to suffer now. I'm going to sacrifice now. And the thing is that overall, do I think I could still buy a house and I could still do that, even as an electrician, me not knowing how much I'm going to make? Yes, because I know that regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, that bill will get fucking paid. If I got to pay that fucking bill, I'm going to pay that fucking bill. But the difference is that I'm going in blind. So I know that it's not a reality right now, and even if it was, just because I know I can do it doesn't mean I'm going to make a jump without knowing any of the circumstances, right? Because that's just stupid. That's setting yourself up for failure. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like. They may want me to work Saturdays. They may want me to come in Sundays. They may have some overtime. They may not have any overtime. They may only be doing 35 to 40 hours a week. Hours may not be guaranteed. X, Y, and Z may happen. I don't know these things, so I'm not going to set myself up for failure. But at the same time, I still have that motivation and I still have that drive to be able to fucking shoot and keep fucking shooting, because I'm understanding that the life of just join the Army, just join the Navy, just join the Marines, just join the Coast Guard, that may be fine. And that may be a fucking plan fucking Q or plan Z or plan V or whatever the fuck, but that is not my main fucking goal. And for me, I'm not shooting for the easy way out. I'm not shooting for the easy way out. I'm shooting for the way out that not only can I write my own fucking story, but in addition to that, I am in control. I'm shooting for the way out where not only can I use my brain and use the resources and use my fucking common sense, but I can use my drive. I'm not looking to be made into a soldier. I'm looking to be the fucking commander. And that is the difference, is that everyone wants to be a soldier, or they want to be on the sideline. They just want to be given orders and said, go fetch. I can't fucking do that because too many people are in situations or are in positions where they can give orders, and me realizing and me working at so many jobs, realizing that these people are incompetent to no fucking end, I'm realizing that not only could I lead better or could I beat them at their own game, but in addition to that, I can't fucking say that this person or this person or this person is smarter than me or is more capable than me. So with that being said, how the fuck am I going to mentally be okay with this person making more money than me? And everyone has to wait for their day, as in, you can't be 15 years old and expect to walk into a fucking bank and be a supervisor, no matter how smart you are. But at the same time, you can't just wait for your day. You can't say, and this is stupid, where so many people say this, all flowers bloom, yours just may take a little bit longer, your day's coming, whatever, because that is what leads to contentment. When you realize, or when you think about it in the way of, oh, my day's coming, eventually, I'm not gonna have to worry about my bills, whatever. That doesn't say you need to go out and put in some fucking work. That says, hey, stop stressing, it'll all work out. And that may be true, and that may be fine for some people, but those people are lost in history. I, as a person, cannot be someone that is a number in history. I have to be a fucking name in history. In the fucking history book, you have to turn the page and see my name. Not a fucking... For instance, if I'm on a flight, I'm on a fucking plane, I'm on whatever the fuck I am, right? Let's just say I'm on a commercial airline. If that fucking plane goes down and everyone dies on board, I can't have it say fucking 160 people perish in a flight due to engine failure or whatever. I have to have it say Nathaniel Salazar amongst the 146 people that died on this fucking plane due to engine failure. I have to be that name, because any other existence, any other reality is not one that you're here for. It's not one that you need. It's not the one you should want. You need to be someone that not only can think for themselves, but is willing to put in the work to be extraordinary. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a fucking billionaire or a trillionaire, or I'm going to be Elon Musk and fucking try to go to Mars and put rockets into fucking space and go to other planets and build a fucking capsule and all this bullshit. That doesn't necessarily mean that, right? You can make your own mark without being someone like that, without trying to do things that no one has ever done. But you have to be someone that overall understands that, hey, it's like this. In that fucking movie Coco, right? People fade because people forget the people that have died. Once everyone forgets you in person, you fade away. That is almost everyone's life. Everyone's life is, your coworkers will forget about you before your family does, but once your family forgets about you, no one else remembers you. And that may be so, but at the same time, someone has to remember me. I have to be something. I can't be that fucking number. I can't do that. And you have to understand that it is everyone's goal to not necessarily bring you down, with that purpose in mind, but to inherently bring you down and stop you from reaching your full potential. Because no one gives a fuck about you, but at the same time, no one wants you to be, almost no one wants you to be better than them. And the reason I could say that so confidently is because of this. Lewis Hamilton was on I think that's his name, the F1 driver that's fucking adding another body to Kim, right? He was on a podcast and he said that these people shouldn't be this wealthy and whatever, and having all this money isn't important and shit like that. He's worth over $400 million dating a bitch that's worth over $2 billion. He's moved to a specific part in, I think, Canada, or moved to Canada or whatever the fuck, to avoid or to pay less taxes to be able to save more money or keep more money. But at the same time, he's worth over $400 million. That's more money than people have seen in their lives combined, that generations have felt or touched or looked at in their life. And with that being said, that's hypocritical, right? It's the same thing with all these celebrities that are pushing, like fucking Billie Eilish, who's being a fucking dumbass and saying how billionaires shouldn't exist, but yet she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars and she's selling products and she's doing all this. That's basically saying, I shouldn't have my money. I did all this work, I've created all these songs, I've performed, I've worked my ass off, but I shouldn't have this money. Which is stupid, because then what the fuck is the point? But in addition to that, it is a deeply systematic, or deeply ingrained in the system mindset that everyone is trying to have you adapt. So that way, not only are you anti-fucking capitalism, but you stop fucking working, because then you have those people that say, well, money isn't everything. Oh, well, there's so many other things besides money. That may be true. Family may be more important than how many M's or how many fucking tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars you have in your bank account. That's fine. But you can't fucking tell me, in addition to that money's not important. You can't tell me that your life would not be better with $100 million in your bank right now. I've met people, dozens of people, all the finance managers at Universal Toyota that are making over $10,000, $20,000 a month, right? Which means that they're making over $200,000, $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. They're able to do much more with their days, even though they're always at fucking work, they're able to do more with their families. They're able to do more with taking their family, taking their wife, taking their girlfriend, taking whomever, their mom, wherever the fuck they want, able to go across the ocean to go on vacation, and able to fucking book a cruise and book a fucking first class and whatever the bullshit, right, in a fucking hotel. They're all able to do that. So you can't tell me that money's not important, because if anything, it's an amplifier, and it helps to not only create joy and excitement in the lives of other people that you love, but it also allows you to have a fucking home, to be safe, to be in a nice neighborhood, to have a car, to be able to buy your kid a car, to be able to do anything you fucking want. But in your mind, it may be enough. And in my mind, I can't be enough. Because if I were to build a successful empire that not only was my electrician business, but I leave that to my son, and then he can run the company. Past that, I still want to own restaurants. I still want to own other businesses. I still want to be not a one business owner. I want to be a conglomerate. I want to be someone that has their hand in multiple things. I want to be someone that not only has the capability, basically, where it wasn't a fluke, where I didn't just get lucky. I have to run multiple businesses. I have to have multiple streams of income, and I can't stay still. Now, is this the recipe to fucking die early? Probably. I'm probably gonna have a seizure or a stroke. I'm more likely a fucking heart attack or a stroke by the time I'm 40, right? But at the same time, it goes back to what I told my mom about building my own business as an electrician and master HVAC technician. What I told her was, I said, even if I lost every fucking dollar trying to get this business going, trying my hardest to be successful here, and for some reason I just couldn't fucking do it, I'd rather have failed and have to start from zero than have never tried at all. I'd rather lose the 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 in my account than have never tried at all. Because it doesn't take balls to do the same thing that everyone has fucking done. It takes balls to go out on your own or to go out with a team and to do something that not only can impact everyone's life, but can impact the future generations of your bloodline. And you have to be someone, especially as a man, and even a woman. Some women want that. Some women want to be the type of person that can set their family up for success. Same fucking shit with Kendra Scott. She did that shit. Great, right? Now, Kardashians are a whole fucking different thing. Whatever. But at the same time, me speaking specifically for men, you have to be someone who is not only willing to do something that people haven't done or people aren't comfortable doing, but you have to do something to be extraordinary. Because there's no point in living a life, there's no point in being here for 60, 70, 80 fucking years if you're lucky, if you're just gonna do the same fucking shit that everyone's done, and you're not gonna learn anything, and you're not gonna do anything that's worth fucking talking about. If at the end of the day, you cannot have a movie made about your life where people wanna watch, or people look at your life and go, wow, that's fucking crazy, or that's so awesome, or holy shit, and it inspires them, then you did not live a life worth living. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. I gotta go to my post, and I will see y'all in the next episode.